Houston gas station. Bravery amidst gunfire. On May 4th, an undercover operation by Houston Police Department (HPD) narcotics officers turned into a bloody mess at a Houston gas station. Traffic officers J. Sally and McMary were in the same location monitoring the situation. During their surveillance, they spotted a suspicious vehicle driven by a 23-year-old man named Jimmy Bryan. Their suspicions proved justified. When ordered to exit the vehicle, Bryan suddenly pulled out his gun and opened fire on the officers. One of the bullets hit Officer Sally in the lower body, seriously wounding him and knocking him out instantly. Without hesitation, the officers immediately returned fire, turning the scene into a tense battleground in the middle of a busy public area. The audio recording is filled with panic and tension. Officer Sally's screams as she reports being shot are followed by McMary's screams as she tries to locate her partner. "I'm shot! I'm shot!" Sally yelled over and over again. McMary, ignoring the danger, immediately tried to drag Sally to safety while screaming for a tourniquet. "We need a tourniquet now," he shouted, his voice shaking but still focused. Bryan was subdued after being hit by return fire. He was immediately secured and taken to the hospital with a gunshot wound. Meanwhile, Officer Sally was rushed to Memorial Hermann Southeast Hospital in critical condition. Fortunately, thanks to the quick response and bravery of her colleagues, her life was saved and she is now in stable condition. Jimmy Bryan is currently in custody and will face 2 counts of aggravated assault on a law enforcement officer. His case will be tried in the 338th District Court. This incident is a stark reminder of the great risks that police officers face every day, even in the course of routine duty. Officers G. Sally and M. McMary, who have both been with HPD since 2012, are now receiving awards and recognition for their extraordinary bravery. In the midst of chaos, they remained steadfast in their duty and demonstrated incredible dedication to protecting each other and the public. Their bravery that day not only saved each other's lives, but also demonstrated the true face of service and devotion.
Sally was rushed to Memorial Hermann Southeast Hospital and is now stable. Bryan, also wounded, was hospitalized and remains in custody. He faces 2 counts of aggravated assault on a public servant in the 338th District Court. Officers Sally and McMary, who joined HPD in 2012, are being recognized for their...
Tensions rise as a woman is forced to confront police after assaulting an employee at a convenience store. From a casual comment taken to lightly to a physical confrontation that escalates, the decisions officers make will determine whether emotion is the driving force behind violence. Watch as her arrest, her struggle and her decisions lead to unexpected consequences. Stop manhandling. Stop. Sit down. You're going to get why. Listen, you're going to get another charge. Manhandling. On June the 2nd, 2024, officers were present when a woman assaulted an employee at a grocery store. Get off of me, get off of me, do it. Stop, 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 relax, relax, relax. You're under arrest for battery. Stop. Stop, relax, can you get off? Relax, I'm kissing my pant. Awesome, she's not going anywhere. Relax, I can do it. Nicely, get off of me, stop moving, and give me your hands. Stop, 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 you're going to get yourself in trouble. Stop, you don't all right, get yourself and sit down. You didn't even use your words. Stop kicking me or you going to get another charge. Stop, calm down, Melissa. Stop, just calm down, stop, move. Wrist, just calm down. All right, there you go. They hear what they have to say. I don't know what happened. Well, they didn't even want to say anything. Not that serious. Relax, relax, yeah, relax a little bit. All right, yeah, I'm going anywhere. Paid, are you her driver? Yeah. Hi. Calm down, there you go. Got to sit down. What was all that about? Yeah, what was all that about? Sit down, sit down. Stop manhandling. Stop, sit down. You're going to get, yo, listen, you're going to get another charge. Handing. Relax, relax, see if you want some medic. Get off of me and talk to me like a person. Sit down, I got her. You want the medics? Yeah, I do. Here Go talk to him, I got this. Can I have my other headphone please? Can you help me put it away like I wanted to do in the first place? Give me your phone. Give me your phone. Come down, come your phone. Okay, take a deep breath. Okay, God. You take a deep breath. Relax, you having a bad day, listen to me, it's okay. You can have bad days, right, but you can't go around punching my face. I'm sick of the comments, man, I get it all day long because I'm a pretty girl and I'm sick of it. I mean, it's a blessing. How it though, I get it, take it back. Okay, relax. Okay, we going to figure this out. Okay, I don't like treating people like that. Okay, that's why I was trying to get you to calm down. Where are you staying? Do you have ID on you? Yeah. Can I go in there and grab it? Please, so let's can't we? Can't be doing stuff like that. Okay, it's a little bit different in South Florida. I understand the comments and stuff like that, but now you know what they say, beauty is pain. What I On June 2, 2024, an incident occurred at a grocery store when a woman attacked an employee. The incident began with a misunderstood comment. A man passing by the area mentioned that the woman was very thirsty, which was taken as a lighthearted joke. However, the woman responded very aggressively, mistaking the comment for an insult. After the comment, the woman approached the man, and although it initially appeared that she was just joking, she eventually struck the man with a single punch using her right hand. The man sustained a small cut to his face. Seeing the incident, the police officers who were on the scene immediately attempted to calm the situation and detain the woman. However, the woman was uncooperative. She began to fight the officers by screaming and refusing to comply, even trying to break free from the police's grip. "Stop, manhandling!" she shouted, trying to break free. The officers warned her that if she continued to resist, she would be charged with additional charges of resisting an officer. However, the woman refused to calm down and continued to fight back, making the situation even more tense. The officer tried to talk to the woman to calm her down, but she continued to be uncooperative, kicking and screaming, making matters worse. Calm down, the officer said, trying to calm her down. But the woman was still unable to control herself, trying to fight back in every possible way. In the midst of the commotion, the officer asked if the man who was being attacked wanted to proceed with the legal process and if he wanted the woman arrested. Although the man initially did not want to go ahead with the charges, he realized that the woman would likely continue her violent behavior if there were no consequences. After several minutes of debate, the officer finally decided to take the woman to the police station. She was charged with battery and resisting arrest. That's what happens when you hit someone in front of the police and resist the officer. The officer said as he watched the woman continue to resist. The woman was then handcuffed and taken to a police vehicle. During the ride, she continued to complain about pain in her wrist and accused the officer of not knowing the proper procedure. The officer responded calmly, explaining that after such resistance, she would be taken through the legal process. This incident shows how a difference in interpretation of a comment can trigger a very emotional reaction and lead to much bigger actions. The woman, who initially responded to a joke, now has to face serious legal consequences. Meanwhile, the officers involved also have to deal with a tense situation and be reminded that resisting an officer will always result in additional charges.
I'm gonna take this off, okay?
You're gonna have to do it through. It's over top. It's not a clip.
Okay. So okay, I have to take it off like this?
You might have to undo one of them.
No. Handcuffs are not coming off. My wrist hurts because I was fighting with you, bro. Are you serious?
You didn't even use your words.
I don't have to use my words. Once we say you're going to jail, that's it. That's how it works.
You clearly don't know how to follow steps of procedure. Come in, I have a story. It's life good for you. I'm so proud of you. I'm sure you're so proud of yourself and you can go home and masturbate about it later. Ooh, did I run? No, I didn't. Look at that.
Tommy!
Reunion at a forbidden's address. Crystalline's narrative of detention. It was an ordinary morning in a quiet residential neighborhood. The sun was not yet high, and a spring breeze was blowing gently through the newly green trees. But in one of the houses that looked ordinary from the outside, a small violation of a legal decision was about to escalate into a confrontation full of emotion and chaos. Crystalline was sitting in the house, eating breakfast, still half awake, when there was a knock on the door. The knock was followed by a friendly, but firm greeting from the police officers standing in the doorway. Hi, how are you doing?" asked one of the officers. Good, replied Crystalline in a casual tone. "Are you the only one home right now?" asked the officer again. "No, I'm with my mom," he answered quickly. The two of them briefly looked at each other, as if not wanting to immediately reveal the purpose of their visit. But then, in a more serious tone, one of the officers asked Crystalline to step outside for a moment, saying they just wanted to clear up a few things. It seemed like a casual conversation at first, an interaction that, on the surface, seemed harmless. But their intentions soon became clear. The officers told her that Crystalline's presence at the house violated the terms of her bail bond in a previous case. The address was where the victim of an ongoing case lived, and she was prohibited from being there. But here she was, back in the place she had been ordered to avoid. Crystalline looked confused. "Wait, how did you know I'm here?" she asked, her voice rising. "We were just doing our jobs," the officer replied curtly, trying to stay calm. When the officers told her they were going to arrest her for that violation, the situation changed dramatically. "What? No way. You can't do this," Crystalline said, her voice starting to fill with anger. The officers tried to talk her down, but when they moved in to handcuff her, she struggled. She refused to give up her hands, screamed, refused orders, and even scratched one of the officers who tried to restrain her. "Stop, don't do that. I can't breathe," she screamed as she struggled on the floor, trying to free herself. The officers, who were trained to deal with situations like this, tried to calm her down while maintaining procedure. But Crystalline continued to refuse to cooperate, and the arrest turned into an intense struggle. She swore, screamed, cursed, and used profanities on the law enforcement officers, who were now losing their patience. "You fing idiot, you motherfucker," she screamed as she was finally handcuffed and taken out of the house. After being taken into custody, Crystalline began complaining of shortness of breath and chest pain. The officers immediately called an ambulance to check on her. A few moments later, paramedics arrived on the scene. One of them tried to talk to her gently. "Cry, do you want us to take a look at you? Make sure you're okay."
The violation of your pretrial conditions. You're under arrest for battery with a police officer, and you're under arrest for resisting, okay?
Well,
Step
what
on
do
over
you
here by
mean
the car.
battery for you?
You scratched me and you slapped her. That's battery.
Wow.
Just come over by the back of the car.
Hold on, put your hand behind. I'm gonna double lock them so they don't tighten up on you, okay?
What are you doing this? What is this? I don't understand. Idiot, you arresting me for no reason.
Do you wanna sit down on the curb to wait for the fire department? It might be a little more comfortable. We're gonna help you down, okay?
"I'm not stressed," she said quickly. But when questioned again, she admitted to feeling pain. After being examined in the ambulance, her condition was declared stable, although she continued to complain that she did not understand why she was being arrested. Amid the chaos, Crystalline insisted that she never knew she was not allowed to be in the house. "This is my place," she shouted as she was led to the police car. "I never heard that. I don't understand." A sergeant who arrived later tried to explain that the address was protected by law because it was the residence of the victim in Crystalline's case. Violation of this provision, as determined by the court, was the main reason for her arrest that day. After being calmed down, Crystalline was taken to the police station for further processing. Throughout the journey, she continued to question the basis for her arrest, repeating that she never knew about the prohibition. But the law does not always recognize ignorance as an excuse. Crystalline was then charged with 3 counts, violating the terms of her bail bond, resisting an officer, and a misdemeanor count of battery on a law enforcement officer. She remains innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. What seemed like a simple morning interaction became a complex portrait of the clash between legal ignorance, uncontrollable emotions, and the procedures required to follow by law enforcement. For most, it would be just another legal note to be filed. But for Crystalline, it may have been a moment that would last her lifetime, a morning that turned into a turning point. And for the officers who handled the case, it was just one more day when the law had to be upheld, even if not everyone was prepared for it.
My name is Eric. I'm the sergeant here on this shift. I just wanted to verify with you. Is anyone home inside your apartment? Your mom or son or anybody?
My mom's not there.
No one's home?
I don't know. My mom was there.
She was there?
Yeah, she was there, and she was outside.
Inside the police car, the engine growled softly as Crystalline sat in silence for a moment, physically and emotionally exhausted. Her face was flushed with anger, anxiety, and shame all mixed together. The handcuffs around her wrists felt cold and rough. She leaned back in her seat, her eyes staring blankly ahead. An officer sitting in front of her turned to her, trying to make conversation more calmly. "We'll explain everything at the office later. You deserve to know all the details." But Crystalline just shook her head slowly. "I don't understand. This doesn't make sense. I just woke up. I just wanted to eat. I didn't hurt anyone." The officers didn't reply. They knew this wasn't about intent. This was about the law, and the law makes no compromise on personal emotions. When they arrived at the police station, Crystalline was led into an interrogation room. She was helped to a seat, and the handcuffs were removed. A female officer approached her to check for additional injuries from the struggle. "We just want to make sure you're okay. If there's anything wrong, we'll note it down and take you to a medical facility if necessary," the officer said, gently but professionally. Crystalline was still emotional, but slowly began to realize that a legal process was underway. She began to ask more calmly, "So, what do you mean I can't go to that house? That's my house too. I lived there before all this happened." An investigator entered with a folder filled with documents. He opened the page, showing a copy of a court order stating that the address was now a no-go zone for the defendant, because the victim in the previous case still lived there. "This is a condition of the court when you were released on bail. We know you may not understand everything during the trial, but it's been noted down and you signed it," the investigator explained. Crystalline read the page with a frown. Her eyes moved quickly from one sentence to the next, as if hoping to find a loophole that could free her from this situation. But there was none. Time passed. She was given a drink of water and asked to wait for the administrative process. In another room, officers make a report. The detention was carried out for violation of bail conditions, accompanied by resistance and minor violence against officers. They also include documentation from the body cam that recorded the entire incident. On the other hand, a team begins to investigate Crystalline's background more deeply. They find previous records. The outside world continues as usual. Outside the police station, streetlights come on one by one. But for Crystalline, time seems to have stopped, freezing her in one spot, between an unfinished past and a future that is now threatened. We all make mistakes, but not understanding the legal consequences can make things worse. Don't let momentary emotions ruin your future. Understand your rights and responsibilities, and learn from every experience, even the painful ones.
Let me know so I can clarify.
I don't understand why you arresting me for. You don't even warrant of arrest.
Okay, so I told you it was for violation of being at your house, okay?
What do you mean be for my house? I don't understand. I never heard that shit. You know, it sounds like a weird. Really, seriously.
I understand.
You know, I don't understand this.
I understand. It's not up to me. It's up to the judge and the parameters that he set.
I never heard this before.
Night in Dallas, chronicle of an arrest. Night has fallen on the Dallas airport. Neon lights shimmer through the crowd, casting long shadows on the polished floor. Amid the hustle and bustle of passengers, a lone woman stands unsteadily. Her eyes are blank, her steps unsteady. A suitcase is toppled beside her, her belongings scattered, as if reflecting the chaos within her. "Don't touch my stuff. Don't touch me. Don't touch me." The woman's voice is shrill, breaking through the night's din. Security guards approach, trying to speak calmly, but the situation is escalating. The woman stares at her with a mixture of anger, fear, and confusion. "Do you want a charge of resisting arrest added to this right now?" It's just a simple ticket, the officer scolded, but all attempts at peaceful coercion were fruitless. The woman resisted being touched, pushing the officer's arm away, and suddenly, a kick landed on one officer's leg. A small cheer erupted from the crowd of onlookers. Several people pulled out their phones, recording what was quickly turning from a minor infraction to a forced arrest. "Let me go. My friend just died. I did nothing wrong." But the words were drowned out by the commotion. She was being held, forced to the ground with practiced, controlled technique. The sound of handcuffs clicked, loud and firm, locking her wrists behind her struggling body. "I'm in this city. I don't know anyone. Why are you treating me like a murderer?" The officers remained calm. They knew the procedure. They knew that anger and wailing were part of the job they had to deal with. Night after night, one of the officers tried to calm her down. "We're just doing our job, ma'am. You can talk later. Now please calm down." But the woman did not give up. In the police car, she wailed, begged, even tried to rationalize her actions. "I don't like being pressured. I don't like being restrained. I'm just angry. I kicked because I was scared. Because I felt cornered." She cried, then laughed, then cried again. Her emotions jumped around, uncontrollable. From behind the bars of the car, she shouted,
We're gonna add charges to it. You understand me? Stand up.
Trustee, assault to a peace officer. We're at 12 upper level.
You're gonna stay right there, ma'am. You went from a simple public intoxication to assault on a peace officer.
I tried to talk to her.
"I have a funeral tomorrow. You guys don't understand. I have to go." The words hung in the air. They sounded more like the cries of a wounded soul than a rational defense. But the law does not recognize grief as an excuse to attack law enforcement officers. Procedure is procedure. He went from being drunk in public to assaulting officers. One of the officers told reporters at the scene, hours earlier, he was just someone trying to get through a rough night in a foreign city. But alcohol, and healed grief, and mounting mental stress had brought him to his breaking point. On the recording, it was clear he felt like the whole world was against him. "He didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. He was a good cop, right? What's your name? What's your name?" He babbled, a mix of praise and paranoia. His body was taken into the detention center. A female officer checked on him. "Are you feeling sick?" The officer asked. "No. I don't know. Maybe. My leg got caught. But I didn't hurt you. I didn't want to hurt you," he stammered. The examination revealed high levels of alcohol consumption and possibly other substances in his bloodstream. The medics gave him standard care. The rest is notes, procedures, and formal reports. But this story isn't just about the law being enforced. It's about someone losing control, lost in panic and grief. About officers forced to choose between compassion and duty. About the public watching, recording, and judging from the small screens in their hands. "I didn't know you were in my house. You set me up. You made this up." The words came out like a mirror, reflecting how broken the world was in his mind at that moment. He wasn't fighting the law, perhaps, but fighting his own pain. But the law still recorded it: public drunkenness, resisting arrest, and assaulting an officer. 3 charges that eliminated the possibility of just a warning and going home that night. A few days later, at his first court appearance, he appeared with a weary face. Her once loose hair was now tied back in a messy bun. Her eyes were puffy, but now she was sober. "I shouldn't have fought back," she told her lawyer quietly. "But that night, I lost control. I lost everything." The night in Dallas would go on. People would come and go. But that night, one woman fell not just physically, but mentally and emotionally, and the cold, well-trained legal system caught her, chronicling her story in reports, video evidence, and fast-spreading news stories. And like so many others, all that remains are the records, the news, and the reminder that in one night, lives can change in a matter of seconds.
Are you serious? Hey, I know you're looking through that. Can I at least have like one toe
one cigarette, something, please, something. Could I? Maybe one. Dude, I don't do drugs. Like, I'm not one of those, like, literally, like, stop it. She's strong. I like her a lot. I literally have no reason to fight him. I don't like to be held down. I don't like to be restrained. And I resisted, and I kicked, and I fought back.
Spoke with the reporting party, so I don't need to contact you.
One cigarette, please. Oh, you're so mad.
She was charged with public intoxication, resisting law enforcement, and assaulting a police officer.
Hey, I have a funeral tomorrow. Can we talk about that? I have a funeral tomorrow. Alright.
That morning, the sky above Paris, SV looked clear, and the hustle and bustle of residents starting their activities had filled the streets. In the midst of this seemingly normal atmosphere, suddenly an incident occurred that changed everything. A man, with an almost cynical smile on his face, became the center of attention after carrying out a brave or perhaps reckless action against the police. Joyfully, one-on-one, the man faced a police officer who was about to question him on the side of Typist Street. Without hesitation, he kicked the officer until he almost fell backwards. The next second, he got on his motorbike and sped off, triggering a chase that shocked the area. The police immediately reported the incident via radio. Within minutes, the sound of sirens could be heard echoing along the route he was on. The man ignored warnings or signals to stop. At Raymundo Pereira de Magalhães, he instead increased his speed, zigzagging between cars and almost hitting a woman who was crossing the street. The officer who was chasing him tried to approach from the right side, but the man fought back again this time. He threw a punch at the officer from the motorbike, almost making the officer stagger. His actions became increasingly dangerous, not only for the officer, but also for the local residents, who began to panic seeing the chase in the middle of the morning traffic. His escape continued until he approached the shopping center area in the Villa Penteto area, not far from the main route connecting Paris and Freguesia. At a small bend near the traffic lights, his motorbike skidded after stepping on a puddle of water mixed with sand. He fell hard onto the asphalt. A thud was heard that made people around him turn their heads. However, he did not give up. With wounds on his arms and knees, he immediately got up and ran not into a small alley or narrow passageway, but towards the mall complex that had just opened that morning. People around the mall were shocked to see a man running with shortness of breath, chased by several police officers in full uniform. He managed to break through the automatic mall entrance, hitting visitors who had just arrived. Several visitors screamed, and the mall security officers also gave chase. The man ran towards the electronics store aisle, but his speed decreased. His breathing was ragged, and his body was unsteady. Officers eventually managed to surround him near the escalator area. He stopped, hunched over, trying to catch his breath. As the police approached, he stopped resisting. His hands were raised slowly, a sign of surrender. What began as a kick and a wild run that morning ended in the middle of the mall. The man was taken into custody and taken to the police station to face further legal proceedings. His courage may have overwhelmed the authorities, but in the end, the law spoke, and there was no place crowded or large enough to hide from responsibility.